Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Aurora online classes. Dear students, let me proceed with the same lesson and let's continue from there. So, I taught you in my previous class that the house was on fire and the firemen were called and they tried their level best to provide safety to the narrator and his mother. So the narrator was wrapped around a blanket and he was made to sit in a car. The mother was also saved by the fireman. Ultimately, the house was burnt down. Nothing was left except documents, some important documents, and photos album. The narrator's mother was emotionally attached to the fond memories of a husband, and that is why she went back into the house to bring those photo albums and letters of a husband. She did not let the pictures and the documents go up in flames of the fire. Let's go away from there. She's going to be okay, said the fireman. She just inhaled a little smoke and then he ran back to fight the fire while my mother and I sat there dazed. I remember watching my house burn down and thinking that there was nothing I could do about it. They were helpless. Both the mother and the narrator were helpless. 5 hours later, the fire was finally out. Our house was almost completely burnt down, but then it struck me I hadn't seen my cat. Where was my cat? Much to my horror, I realized that she was nowhere to be found. Then, all at once, it hit me the new school, the fire, my cat. I broke down in tears and cried, and I was suffering loss big time. Everything was burnt down. Mother was saved. The fireman saved his mother. But what about his pet cat? Actually, the narrator was fond of his pet cat. I would say both the narrator and the cat were fond of each other. The cat was very close to the narrator. So they had a strong bond and there was a loving relationship between the cat and the narrator. But the narrator was, the cat was found to be nowhere. So it was a big loss for him and he missed his cat very badly. He cried for the cat. This shows that how deeply attached he was with the cat. So there was a sentimental attachment, emotional attachment with the cat. Actually, the cat, he thought that the cat must have perished in the, in the fire. The firemen wouldn't let us go back into the house that night. It was still too dangerous, dead or alive. I couldn't imagine living without knowing about my cat. Regardless, I had to go. We piled into the car with just the clothes in our bags and a few of the firemen's blankets and made our way to grandparents' house to spend the night. On that night, they had to go to they had to go to the grandparents to spend the whole night. Nothing was left. Next day, Monday, I went to school when the fire broke out. I was still wearing the dress I had worn to church that morning, but I had no shoes. I had to kick them off when I was doing my homework. They became yet another casualty of the fire. So I had to borrow some tennis shoes from my aunt. Why couldn't I just stay home from home? School? My mother wouldn't hear of it, but I was totally embarrassed by everything. The clothes I was wearing looked weird. I had no books or homework, and my bag backpack was gone. I had my life in that backpack. The more I tried to fit in, the worse it got. Was I destined to be an outcast and a geek all my life? That's what it felt like. I didn't want to grow up, change, or have to handle life if it was going to be this way. I just wanted to curl up and die. Actually, he became so sad, he became so upset at the loss of everything, and he wanted to die. He wanted to commit suicide because there was no hope. He felt sad, he felt lonely, and he was completely disheartened, disappointed, completely upset at such a big loss. I walked around the school like a zombie. Everything felt surreal. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. All the security I had known for my old school, my friends, my house, and my cat had been ripped away. Everything had gone. Next day, he went to school without books, without notebooks, without backpack, without shoes, without school uniform. His condition was quite pathetic. But his mother was particular about education. She forced the narrator to go to school, and then the people in the school came to know about the condition of the narrator. Those who did never spoke to the narrator, they came for the narrator's help, and that was an act of charity. They did really a noble work. When I walked through that, what used to be my house after school, that day I was shocked to see how much damage there was. Whatever I hadn't burnt was destroyed by the water and the chemicals they had used to put out the fire. The only material things not destroyed were the photo albums, documents, and some other personal items that my mother had managed to heroically rescue, but my cat was gone and my heart ached for her. He deeply missed his cat. Everything was burnt down, everything was destroyed except albums, photo albums, and some important documents. There was no time to grieve. My mother rushed me out of the house. We would have to find a place to live, and I would have to go buy some clothes for school. We had to borrow money from my grandparents because there were no credit cards, cash, or even any identification to be able to withdraw money from the bank. Everything had gone up in this smoke. Everything was burnt. Cash, credit cards, nothing of that sort was with them. Everything got burnt. That week, the rubble that used to be our house was being cleared off the lot. Even though we had rented an apartment nearby, I would go over to watch them and clear any debris, hoping that my cat was somewhere to be found. She was gone. I kept thinking about her as that vulnerable little kitten. In the early morning, when I would disturb her and get out of bed, she would tag along after me, climb up my robe, and crawl into my pocket to fall asleep. I was missing her terribly. It always seemed that the bad news spreads quickly, and in my case, it was no different. Everyone in high school, including the teachers, was aware of my plight. I was embarrassed, and if somehow I were responsible. What a way to start off at a new school. This was not the kind of attention I was looking for. The next day at school, people were acting even more strange than usual. I was getting ready for gym class at my locker. People were milling around me, asking me to hurry up. I thought it was strange. But in the light of the past few weeks, nothing would surprise me. It almost seemed that they were trying to shove me into the gym. Then I saw why. There was a big table set up with all kinds of stuff on it. Just for it. Just for me. They had taken up a collection and bought me school supplies, notebooks, all kinds of different clothes, jeans, tops, sweatsuits. It was like Christmas. I was overcome by emotion. People who had never spoken to me before were coming up to me to introduce themselves. I got all kinds of invitations to their houses. Their genuine outpouring of concern really touched me. In that instant, I finally breathed a sigh of relief and thought for the first time that things were going to be okay. I made friends that day. This was for the first time. Actually, everybody in the new school, in the high school, had come to know about the condition of the narrator. They had come to know that the narrator had lost everything. They had come to know that the the narrator's house was burnt down. Nothing was left with the narrator. So the people in the school who never spoke to him, they came to the narrator, and they came for the narrator's help. They took the narrator to the gym, where they provide all the essentials to the narrator. They provided all the classmates, provided provided him jeans, tops, sweatsuits, all kinds of notebooks and books. They provided the narrator. So this was an act of charity, and the narrator was touched. The narrator was completely touched by their concern. The narrator was completely, deeply touched by their care and concern. The narrator was overwhelmed with the emotion. For the first time, he realized that the people who never spoke to him, they came forward and helped the narrator out with all sorts of essentials like notebooks, copies, books, clothes, jeans, tops, everything they provided. And this brought a change in the attitude of the narrator. Now the narrator had a relief, and the narrator looked positive, and the narrator felt positive, and the narrator actually looked cheerful. So he was touched by their care and concern. A month later, I was at my house watching. Now, the new house of the narrator was rebuilt. A month later, I was at my house watching them rebuild it, but this time it was different. I wasn't alone. I was with two of my new friends from school. It took a fire for me to stop focusing on my feelings of insecurity and open up to all the wonderful people around me. Now the narrator was comfortable with the people around him. The narrator made friends at the new school, and these friends were very supportive and cooperative. Now his new friends came to the narrator's newly built house, because that house was burned down. Now they took an apartment on rent nearby. His house was rebuilt. So that was a newly built house where the narrator's friends, new friends, used to pay him a visit. They used to come to see the narrator. So I was sitting there watching my house being rebuilt when I realized my life was doing the same thing. While we sat there on the curb planning my new bedroom, I heard someone walk up to me from behind and say, "Does this belong to you?" When I turned around to see who it was, I couldn't believe my eyes. A woman was just standing there holding my cat. I leapt up and grabbed her out of the woman's arms. I held her close to me and cried into that beautiful orange fur. She purred happily. My friends were hugging me, hugging the cat, and jumping around. Apparently, my cat had been so freaked by the fire that she ran over a mile away. Her collar had our phone number on it, but our phones had been destroyed and disconnected. This wonderful woman took her in and worked hard to find out whose cat it was. Somehow, she knew this cat was loved and sorely missed. As I sat there with my friends and my cat curled up in my lap, and all the overwhelming feelings of loss and tragedy seemed to diminish, I felt gratitude for my life, my new friends, the kindness for a stranger, and the loud purr of my beloved cat. My cat was back, and so I was underlining. Actually, what happens? His house was newly built house, and now he was sitting with some of his friends. Suddenly, a wonderful lady came to him, and she came with the narrator's lost cat. So she restored the lost cat to the narrator. The narrator was very happy. So she was a very kind-hearted and generous woman. She gave the she brought the cat to the narrator. Actually, even the phone was disconnected due to the fire tragedy. That was really a very tragic situation when the house was burnt, when the house was on fire. Everything was destroyed except some photo albums and you know some important documents. Actually, now he was sitting and he was planning for the new bedroom in his newly built house. Then and there, suddenly, a wonderful woman, a kind-hearted woman came to the narrator. So how did she come to know? She came to the narrator with a cat, and she gave this cat to the narrator. The narrator was very happy to get the cat back. Actually, the narrator thought that this cat might have perished in the fire, but actually it did not happen. When the house was on fire, the cat did not perish, the cat did not die, the cat escaped the house miles away in order to save its life. But there was a collar around the neck of the cat, and there was a collar around the neck of the cat with the narrator's telephone number. So actually, from that number, the woman took pens and searched for the narrator's house and came to the narrator, because the narrator was the real owner, and handed over this cat to him. So actually, such a wonderful lady. Of course, she was a very wonderful lady. Of course, she was a very kind-hearted and generous lady, and she restored this cat to the narrator. Now the narrator felt very happy, because the narrator felt that his life is meaningless, worthless without cat. So after getting the cat back, the narrator had a great sense of relief, and he was very happy. He was overjoyed to get his cat back. And we have come to know that we should not we should not get disappointed in any situation. We should be we should be hopeful. We should be positive in every situation. This is what we learn from this lesson. Thank you very much, dear students. And with this story comes to its end. That's all for today. Thank you very much.